good to have you here. Welcome to USC.
Yeah.
It's as we were just talking, we're going to have some common threads to talk about, but it's great to have you here. Thanks for saying yes. The final class of the semester for the seniors, maybe their final class ever, so this is a good way to go out.
Well, I don't think it's ever a final class. We're always students.
That's a good point. Can everyone hear him okay? No. Okay, so
How would I do?
did you turn on your...
Jerry mic'd me,
No,
so.
Jerry's got it. Hold on. Did you turn on the other mic? Gotcha. Maybe this one's not. No, it's good. Right there. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Is that one on?
Probably not.
No.
I should know how to do this stuff.
Yeah. Well, you better speak.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, now it's better.
Any better?
I can talk
Can
loud.
you turn it on a little bit more? Sorry about that.
I talk pretty low, so you probably have to turn it up higher.
All right. It's always the AV. It's always the AV,
Yeah,
no matter
it
how
is.
many times you go through it. But thank you so much for being here. As I told you, this course, even though it's an entrepreneurship course, it's about mindset.
Mhm.
It's about how you train, what lessons you've learned, but also sort of what practices and habits you've developed over time to be successful in any endeavor, particularly as an entrepreneur. And you are prolific
Oh, thank
as an
you.
entrepreneur.
Thank you. I definitely, I never knew what would happen. I mean, I just knew that I knew I had tunnel vision. I was focused on what I wanted to do.
Well, let's talk. We're going to go back in a second, but before we dive into your earlier life, can you just give us a broad overview of your primary business interests?
Like what I'm doing now?
Yeah. What you own, what you're vice chairman of. I mean, not every company in your portfolio, obviously, but just like the broad view of what your life consists of, your business.
Well, first of all, I'm an entrepreneur who invested in himself because I couldn't find someone to invest in me, and I invested in myself with time and knowledge, and instead of, I guess, sitting around looking at social media, I started looking at Google and things like that to figure out what I wanted to do, and I just focused on it. So that's Fenty Beauty. We started Fenty Skin, Fenty Fragrance, Savage, Roc Nation, amongst other things. And board-wise, like Amy said, I sit on a bunch of boards. I sit on Beyonce's board, Rihanna's board for charity. Jay-Z's board, the Hammer Museum, I have a lot of charities, a lot of things to give back. I think as you receive, you gotta know how to give back.
We're going to talk about where those lessons were instilled and who you learned from it in a minute, because it's something that's close to my heart as well, and the people that you've learned from. Half the class are seniors, or maybe 40% are seniors, graduating in 2 weeks. There's probably some angst out there as they try to make the right move or take the right job. Melissa, you submitted a question. Where's Melissa? That I thought was really important that you asked from the outset. Do you want to give her the mic to ask this question?
Ryan, you have a question for me?
Not yet.
Sorry.
So my question was, I watched an interview of you recently where you said online that stood out, and it was, do what you're going to do, not because of financial gain, but because you love it. So how could someone at my stage who about to graduate college and having to make decisions on career paths take this advice? I feel like today there's so much pressure on us 22 making a career with to make the smart move, which is to choose jobs that are more stable, high paying, etc., and less support to follow our actual passions. So what advice do you have on this?
That's a great question. I'm going to spin it around in a few different ways. I came here and the professor asked me, do I have kids? And I said, yes. And I said, actually, I saw Ryan and my oldest son is, they're best friends. And I was like, he asked me what my son wanted to do. He's graduating from NYU. And I said, I don't know. said, if he wants to paint, I'm gonna give him paintbrushes. I'm just giving him the tools the way he wants to do it. I'm not, as a parent, I'm not in a rush to try to force someone to find out who they are. I want them to go ahead and develop who they're gonna be. And that's in the spirit. You have to have experiences to do that, because once it starts, you start getting into this world that we call work. It never stops. And then you become like me, you're 50 years old, and it keeps going, and then, you know, and the kids start all over again. It's a cycle, and you want to figure out how you enjoy yourself. My mother, the best story is my mother, you know, she might be mad at me, forgive me for telling her all this stuff, but my mother worked a job to support us, and she got divorced. I'm from Connecticut originally, from Bridgeport, Connecticut. And my father never paid child support, and there's 5 kids. And then these 5 kids were going to school. My mom worked 2 jobs. I didn't get to see her that much. But when she was present because she was tired. And one day, fast forward 20 years later, I'm married, and my wife tells me my mom takes depression pills. I said, my mom's never been depressed. She's always been so happy. And I never knew she took depression pills. And I sat down and I talked to her, and she told me that she never loved the job she did. She did the job to take care of us, but you know, she was happy. She didn't regret it. But that was the thing. I said, well, what do you want to do? She goes, well, you know, when I started out, I was a teacher. All I want to do is go back to teaching kids. And I said, well, Mom, you know that doesn't pay that much for you to go ahead and be a public school teacher, that she wanted to do. And it's fine. She goes, I don't care. I can live in a mobile home, and it will make me really, really happy. I said, well, I will make sure you're all right. But I was able to do that. But the thing is my mom did something that she never wanted to do. And when she finally did it, she changed. She became a different person. She became the person that I knew when I was a little kid. And I didn't realize the difference, because you know, the time goes by and moves so fast, you don't realize that someone's there, you're not paying attention. So I vowed to myself I would never do anything ever if I wasn't happy. Because an unhappy person is a short life, a happy person is a long life. And you don't, when you're born, like someone the other day was like, I said, can you buy, I told them that Tiffany was here in the office, I said, can you buy somebody a birthday gift? She went online, she looked at Gucci, and I was like, these kids don't know Gucci, they know Target. You know, so the only way people know those type of things is us giving it to them. You don't know where certain cars are, you don't know what certain things are. We put that in your head. As parents, as people, we market to you and say, having this is better, but it doesn't mean it's better. Most of the people I know that have a lot of money are miserable. So it's because they don't have the happiness. They don't know they don't know this is their real friend. They don't know what's that, because they live in a society right now where they're socializing based off of the people they met, based off of what they have. And if they didn't have it, they don't know if people would stop talking to them. So the answer to your question is that I would never let anything, you know, I wouldn't be motivated by, you know, financial gain. I'm motivated by just being happy. So I think once you find your happiness, you're gonna know it. Once you know what you're gonna do, you're gonna be the best at it. So I hope I answered your question.
Answers the entire semester's worth of questions. Unless you are just uniquely gifted or skilled in something, the almost only competitive advantage you have is your passion and attention. You do things well that you love to do, so you spend more time doing them. So you spend more time practicing, you get better. Not everyone had, by the way, like him saying that, where do you fall in the birth order, by the way?
I'm number 4.
I'm number 5 of 5. And came out here at USC in my beat up Honda Prelude on financial aid. Then I learned what cars were. You know, back I didn't know what cars were until I came here. But my point is that not everyone has the luxury. They think they have the luxury, but I'm not sure he had the luxury of choice, right? Didn't seem to it. You know, like there are people that have a safety net and a family that says, don't worry about it. There's other people who's like, you know, have a lot of pressure on them to go work at Goldman Sachs, and those are great jobs. And by the way, at 22, you may not know what you want to do yet. Most people don't. And so it's okay to try some things, and if you don't like them, at least you start crossing things off your list and gravitating towards something that you like. But it's no coincidence that we talk a lot here about purpose and identity and passion and motivation, because those are the things that actually separate you. Jeez, that was just a perfect introduction. So to give context, you gave some context on your family life and your mom and 5 kids. You grew up in Connecticut, right?
I was
Bridgeport?
Yeah, I was born in lived about a year in Bridgeport, but my mother was remarried. That's the reason why I moved out here when I was 10.
When you were 10. Was it a culture shock to move from?
Absolutely. It was different. It was dry. I started having nosebleeds and stuff like that. There was no seasons. It wound up being great. Every summer, June 10th, September 10th, I had to go back and go stay with my father out there, but it was fine.
Did you have any early career aspirations or early jobs that were influential on you?
Yeah, so we didn't have a lot of money, so it's like, having a big family, they do what they can do. So I actually, since 7th grade, I never took money from my family. I would go wash cars, and then I developed this thing. I was like, I would love some candy, so I would eat candy. People were like, hey, I want some candy. And I was like, I'm taking it, I'll give you a quarter. And I was like, give me a quarter. Someone said that to me, so next day I went and bought 10 lollipops, and I came back and I sold for a quarter each, and then I bought 20 lollipops and stuff like that. And then I realized my max out was about 50 lollipops. So I would use that money, keep saving with that money, and I never asked them for anything after that. And then got a job when I was 15 and so on, and anything from school, all that stuff, I paid for everything. Because I didn't want to feel like I started feeling, I felt my independence. And once I felt my independence, it felt really good. And also too, I didn't want to feel like I was, any stress, I didn't feel like that either as a burden on them. So, there to take care of my brother. He was about to go to college, and they were trying to help pay for that. And, as kids, we all had different needs, and so I just did it myself.
Working early says a lot. A lot of entrepreneurs, they found something early on that they weren't afraid to ask for a sale. They weren't afraid to go buy some inventory. They got, you sort of fall in love with the idea of, wait, you need something and I can solve that problem.
Yeah.
And so if you get that early on, it's a great indication for later in life.
$10 a day, I was like, I'm rich.
Yeah,
It's great.
It's such a great feeling. So you went to Granada Hills High School, and then let's talk about your first internship. Where your first internship was at Mercury Records, right?
Yeah, my first internship was at Mercury Records, and
is that where your spark was lit in music, or was it?
No, my spark was lit before then. I was in high school. I was dating a young lady, and she was an artist, and I went to the studio, and the guy had all these, papers laying on the ground, and I was just sitting there. I was like, I'm not gonna just sit here. Or she goes in there and sings and sitting there for hours and do nothing. So I asked her, I said, can I read your papers? So I read them, and after a couple of days, I realized that all the papers said the same thing, no matter if it was 6 years old or 4 years old. And I said, why do all your papers say the same thing? How come you don't ask for more? He looked at me and I said, he doesn't read his contracts. That's when I knew I wanted to be in business, because I wanted to help. Because what's the worst someone can say to you if you ask for more points? No. No is a very powerful word. You say no back.
It's, I don't know if it was Quincy or Clarence who said, whenever someone asks you how much, say the biggest number you can say without stuttering.
Yeah.
So ask for big numbers. The worst they can do is
say the biggest number without looking down.
Yeah, without looking down. Yeah, exactly right there. All right. So in 93 to 98, yeah, you began as a publishing executive at Quest. Quincy
1993.
1993, yeah. Quest Records and Quincy Jones Music Publishing until 1998. Talk about the importance of mentorship and what it meant to have Quincy as someone to learn from.
Well, let me take it back. When I started interning first, I interned, and the executive never really came in. So I followed through and basically helped run whatever office that she wanted me to run for her. she would call in and she'd go, bro, I'll get coffee for people. I didn't drink my first cup of coffee until I was 36. I don't drink coffee, but I tried it at 36. I knew how to make some great coffee. To tell you the truth is that I had no ego. Give me some coffee. Sure. There's no ego. I didn't care. I don't have no ego with that today. But I learned a lot from that, and then I wound up actually getting a job from there as an assistant at this company called Polydor. And it was Avatar, which was part of Polygram. Or Polygram, which was Mercury and all that stuff. That was distribution back then. And I was the guy's assistant, and the woman that was there too as well, and they would do soundtracks, and I was horrible. I was like a horrible assistant. I would type and put white out. I mean, there'd be like 30 whiteout pieces on paper, and I was just trying to learn. And then eventually, we separated. He was like, oh, you're not good. I said, you're right. We left, and I got a job at Quincy Jones Music Publishing. And then when Quincy hired me, I just started going to the studio, and I started, working with writers, and then I was signing writers, and then I had my first #1 record as a publisher, which was All My Life with George and Casey. And then I had another one right after that, which was Don't Rush, but I got my first one, and they gave me this lady named Judith Wright, who was very influential for me in my life, and teaching me stuff. She was the head of the publishing company. And they gave me a bottle of Cristal, and she put it together. And I was like, wow. And I was staying in the studio at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I come into the office like 11 o'clock in the morning. And one day Quincy's in there and he's like, hey, how was your day? I said, my day. I said, my night was amazing. I made some great records. And I was just so excited about it. He goes, that's good. He goes, let me tell you something. I said, what? He said, you see all these people outside? I said, they're all waiting on you. I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, the music's the engine to the company. And when you come in, you have to walk them through the music so they know what to do. They know how they're going to push it and support it and what's going to happen. They're sitting around doing nothing. So that means I'm paying them to do nothing while you're coming in late because you think you stayed out late. And that's the reason for you coming in late. And I was like, he goes, you asked for this position to be in that spot. I didn't tell you to do it. And that's what it requires. So here's what I expect. I expect you to be here during banking hours because I want you to make your deposit within this company. After that, I said, no problem. I was there at 8 o'clock. So I was there at 8 o'clock. He didn't mean 8 o'clock. We met like 9 o'clock. But I was there at 8 o'clock every day. And then a month later, he came and he took me into the sales department to learn that, to the marketing department to learn that, promotion department. And I was like, you take me around and do all this stuff. Why? He goes, because I know I can see that you're going to run your own company and I'm going to be the one to teach you. And that's how he taught me. So I think the fact is that people see when you're inspired, people see when you're working hard, people see, when you're basically kind of like, you're relentless on just trying to, do the right thing. And I was very intentional about, making sure that I lived up to the expectations that he asked of me.
Well, first, hearing that constructive feedback from Quincy, as a young person is tough to hear, but that's the best thing you can ask for. Clarity is kindness, and to be clear with what their expectations are. And this also goes to your question about your first job and your next job is find great mentors and people that invest in your future, not just because you can do their work for them and be a great assistant. That's your first requirement, is to be a good employee, be a good coworker. But a great mentor sees your future better than you do. I'm sure Quincy saw it clearly where, I don't know how old you were at that point, but you're just sort of trying to learn as much as you can. But they see something special in you, and so that's why they'll invest, because they just know. And there's also Quincy and another, a mutual friend of ours, Clarence. I mean, their careers are about elevating others, empowering others, and making sure people are fairly paid and treated fairly. So I told this story, this class, even though we've just met. I started a class in 2003. Amy was in 2004 for MBAs. It was launching the business plan. And the first year, the seeds of this class were planted, unannounced, On the last week of class, I just told the students that we're having a special guest, and in walked at the beginning of class, Quincy Jones and Clarence Avant with no previous introduction. Quincy, at the time, probably the most recognizable person on earth, or one of them. And Clarence, if you don't know, you have to watch the movie called The Black Godfather. Maybe the most powerful person in entertainment and politics whose name you don't know. And if you don't know, you should. And they sat there for 3 hours, and it was business, it was music, it was the history, race and politics, and it was, we had to kick them out. Class was over for an hour, and they still stayed. And it really was like the idea for this class, so it's sort of a full circle moment to have you here, really special.
I had a lot of those conversations, and, they stay with you forever. Everyone needs them. You'd be surprised how some things you might say to someone that might change their life.
Take good notes tonight. So from after Quincy's company, you were at Electra, and then 2005 to 2008, you moved to Def Jam. Could you tell us what your role was there? And
Well, in 2004, they came to LJ about running Def Jam, and Jay was like, "Come on, Jay Brown, we should go do it." I was like, "That's great." I said, the real story is they made an offer to me, not Jay, but people made an offer to me. Jay signed his deal for what was coming. And when Jay signed his deal, they pulled back on my deal and they lowered it by a significant amount. And they cut it back like $700,000. And I was like, I called him up and I said, "Well, why are we doing this?" And he's like, "For the culture." He said, let's get it back. It's something that we grew up on, put the vinyl on, we were inspired by it. And he goes, I said, "This is what they did." He goes, "Really?" He goes, "I'll give you the money." I said, "I don't want the money. I just want to know why." He goes, "Let's take a step back and take a leap forward." And when he told me that, I said, "All right." And he did it, and we did it together, and we went, and also Tox Hub was part of it, and Juan came in, and we worked there, and I came January, I can remember, it's I think 17. And then January 25th, I got Rihanna's demo. And then in 2007, that Christmas holiday, I resigned, he resigned. In April 2008, we started Roc Nation.
tell us what the vision for Roc Nation was, and what did you see yourself doing that the existing labels and competitors were not doing well, or that you thought you could do better?
Well, I think the overall dream for every artist at some point is to be signed to a major label, which they call major, which is the big ones and the names they grew up on, and they feel like they made it off of that. Our vision was to tell you that you are major already. There's ways to do your own thing. There's ways to believe in yourself. There's ways to invest in yourself. You go out about and you're a hot artist, and somebody says, "I'm going to give you $1 million advance," and you're like, "That's huge." You take the money and you take the deal. And the deal is a royalty deal. The deal they're giving you 18 or 20 points. But before you had that $1 million advance, if someone's giving you $1 million advance, that means somebody believes in you. So you already believed in yourself to get yourself there. What I said, don't give me an advance. I just want to own myself. I want to be my own master, or at least half my master. So instead of you giving me 20 points, which is called $2 a record, give me $10 a record, because that's what I deserve. I'll give you a license. I'll give you $1 back. You can distribute it. I don't want no money from you. You turn around and you sell 1 million units, you make $10 million. You license your records and you get $500,000 for a sync here and there. You're making all this money. You start selling millions of albums, you're making $50, $60, $70 million. You do it the other way, you get a few $1 million. You're wondering why you keep taking these advances. You keep taking these advances because you actually are advancing against yourself. You're not really making any money. So our thing is like, if you want to do it, I want to show you how you go on yourself. I want to show you that if if you own your masters, when I started in business, a master, if you own your masters, and let's say someone made $5 million a year off their masters, and master means that you guys own, you're the record company, you own the record side, not the publisher side. So we'll get into the publisher side in a second. If you were making $5 million a year, they're gonna give you a multiple of 2, they're gonna give you $10 million back then. Now they're giving you 20x. So if you're making 5, God, if I was able to tell you to keep your masters, you were making all this money, and then one day you say, you know what? I want to sell my first 5 masters, let me keep my other 5. They're making $10 million a year. That's what you're making in profit. And they're gonna buy it for $200 million.
20x of your royalties.
20x on capital gains. And you're like, wow, so now you're making all the money all these years, and now you're making 20x, and you still kept some of your other stuff, or you can sell part of it. Then you still have your publishing, and then your publishing is another 20x. And if your net profit share on that is 5, then that's 100. And then we're talking about money that's life-changing for a lot of people if they sit there and they do that right. And that's an ownership. You go half of it, you go all of it. But the objective is you can take 1 million, or 2 million, or 3 million as an advance. You just say, I want to play the long game, and I want to go after this.
So the paradigm before this, and the answer that he's giving is essentially, we decided to be more artist friendly and look out for artist interests. Labels typically give you an advance, and that means advance against your future earnings. You're pulling it out of what you would be paid. They own the masters, so you see a lot of artists negotiating back for her masters. You saw Taylor Swift re-record to get around her masters. Masters are huge. That's why you see some artists selling their entire catalogs for 20x, 20 times whatever they're generating per year. So they're doing it differently than a traditional record label would do it, and it's more artist friendly. Ingrid, do you have a question? Do you want to give her? Can you speak up loudly since you're speak up loudly?
Hi, thank you so much for being here. This is super cool. So my question is, I feel like entrepreneurship in the music industry is special because it's also an art. So as much as you're taking risk based off of data and analytics, you also have to have that gut feeling. So I was wondering, what aspects do you look for when you're looking to represent new talent? Like, what are you looking for in a potential new artist?
It's always like an instinct. It's kind of like you just feel it in your gut.
I have a feeling you would say that.
I
I just think that's the
I never hired anybody looking at a resume.
Yeah.
I never, your brother works for us. He started off intern for what, three semesters, 3 years and stuff. And I didn't remember what school he went to. I just, I was like, and he didn't even know what he wanted to do. I was like, he should do this. I like to put him in and have an intern and stuff like that. And I've just never done that. I kind of feel like you go off people's instincts, you go off how people are. People make mistakes, you teach them. And, you learn from people as well. There's a lot to learn from each person. But there's an opportunity to go ahead and give people this chance to go ahead and do stuff. So it depends on how the artist is and who they are and what they are and they have depth. And I want to know that they have depth. I want to sit there and talk to them, get into it, and see how they are, and see how they are as a person. I would want to create someone, or I don't personally not create themselves. I don't walk in their shoes, but I wouldn't want to be part of the process of someone gets really big and you're creating a bigger monster. That's not for me. If someone's a seed and they're growing and become this beautiful flower and they just start spreading and it becomes infectious, I want to create that. So it depends on what this person wants to be and where they're at. But also sometimes you have these people who actually are going the wrong direction and you help guide them and give them direction and they're looking for it and they're yearning for it. So if I can find that person, I'm all in. I think everyone has talent and sometimes you just have to figure out where it's at. So including as executives or producers or so be it.
That's a good answer. Josh, he's going to bring a mic up to you. So that's that on this side, but yeah. So that's sort of what you're looking for. This is a question sort of from the client side of
Pretty tall, Josh.
First of all, thank you for being here. My question was, what is one of the most common things that you have to teach your clients when they first come into the industry about implementation? Following up on that, what would you think, or what advice would you give your clients for being more effective?
How to be a better client?
I would say, you're just as soft-spoken as me, man, being that tall. I would say that the first thing I want to teach them is actually how to hold on to their money. First thing I want to teach them is also, in that aspect, is to take a portion of it and put it away, and also recognize certain things you don't need. I teach them all the time, but if they're willing to learn, I teach them how to buy houses, I show them how to buy their first home, buy their second home. I show them how to go ahead and, and do things for themselves, so they don't feel like they didn't take care of themselves in the process. Sometimes you'll do so many things for so many other people, and you never do something for yourself, you become miserable. So try to find out what actually makes them happy, and make sure they're continuing to do that, and make sure it's I guess the thing is like, the success is going to come, is figure out how do you manage the success? How do you still make sure you're staying happy, you're still doing things that make you happy? You like to fish, are you making time for your fishing? Are you making time playing basketball on Saturdays, whatever? Are you still doing those things that make you happy? That's the first thing you want to teach them. One is that they start their dynamic change financially. And if you got $5 million in a year and you went from $20,000 to $5 million, you're not gonna know what to do with it. It's just not possible. And especially if you're first generation. And a lot of them being minorities, being first generation, they have no idea what to do with it. So unfortunately, there's no public school, and most private schools are not showing you how to balance. I guess they don't use checks anymore, but they're not showing you how to balance, your financial books. So you want to kind of give them the tools for that and introduce them to the right people so they can help them with that. And then at the same time, making sure that they're enjoying themselves in the process of what they're doing, so they don't become miserable with it. Sometimes what you ask for may not be always what you want.
It's a different answer than I thought. It's more holistic advice than actually how to be a good client. It's how to be responsible. And, money is easy to spend and hard to make. And so if you can control the spending side of it, you're going to be better off for a longer period of time. What do you need? My mic's off? Thank you. It's on. My mic to you, Jerry, is on. No? It's got a green light. We're going to keep going. Jerry, just let me know or come up here. And I'm going to speak loudly, Jerry, because no one cares what I say, they care what he says. And so that's the only thing that matters. Joshetta? Yes, you had a question. I really like that question.
Hi.
Hey, do you want to get the mic so everyone can hear, please?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, thank you so much for being here. I'm Jashida, and my question was, in an era where artists can achieve instant viral fame and through platforms like TikTok and YouTube and just social media in general, Roc Nation has consistently demonstrated a commitment to the long-term development of the artists. So I was curious as to if you could elaborate on how Roc Nation navigates the challenges of quick viral success with sort of maintaining a focus on very sustainable growth.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I guess you're referring to what you see like on TikTok and things like that. When you see somebody on TikTok, can you give her back the mic for 1 second? I want to ask her a question. You're going to ask me a question, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. When you see somebody on TikTok, what do you think they are? How do you categorize them as success? What do you call them?
One-hit wonder.
But what's the metric? Is that what you're asking?
No. What would you classify them as? I mean, as a consumer or somebody who's watching, you would classify them as a possible one-hit No, there's nothing wrong with what you're saying. I'm saying that could be actually true. And I'm not even talking about music, I'm just talking about business overall.
I guess.
There's no wrong answer. There's no wrong
No,
answer.
I'm just trying to think about what I think. But
I'm just gonna make you think like you try to make me think.
okay. I think in general, given who I am and how social media is right now, I'd be skeptical. I'm very skeptical of like social media marketing in general, because I feel like, especially if they're sort of promoting some sort of product, I feel like I'm being sold to in a way where I'm not looking to purchase, so it feels kind of disingenuous. I don't know.
That could be the case, and there's an addiction to being famous. There's an addiction to people recognizing you, and there's and you think these are all your friends. But what we would classify that as in our business is an influencer, and so an influencer would be someone that gained major popularity through social media or other aspects, and they get a big following, and then people are starting to pay them for advertising because people are watching them, making reviews, and they're doing different stuff. And then following after an influencer, then the biggest thing after that is a celebrity. And a celebrity is someone that becomes a little more recognizable in reality TV and things like that. And then out of that, you expand someone to be a star, and then you get a superstar. And then after that, you get a brand. A brand is someone you believe in, someone you trust. So what I try to do if I see something like that, I try to make sure that where it starts to begin like that, I try to make sure we have a path. We have a path to go through all these hurdles to get to this point. Because when you get to the brand is Bruce Springsteen, the brand is U2, the brand is Jay-Z, the brand is Rihanna, and if they say something, you know it's real, it's authentic. They're not sitting there and tweeting about something like, flat tummy tea. You get paid for it because you know it's not real. And you may start off in that process, but as you get to that process, you're aligned. You know exactly what you're doing. You want to start a beauty line like Amy did. And that's what you're doing. That's your focus. You're not deviating, doing a bunch of other things. You're focused, and you're locked in. And once people start bringing other things to you, say, guys, this is what I'm building. This is what I believe in. And you might start building other things that work with that brand. It might be a skin line. It might start with cosmetics, and a skincare line, and a hair care line. But it all falls in line with what you're doing first. But the first thing you're going to do is you're going to get your cosmetics working, because that's what you want to do first. Because nothing else works after that if you don't have this line. So, if it says, I don't know so much as a short-term success, because I'm always looking at the long-term. I'm just trying to go ahead and make sure they know that this could go away if they don't stay true to who they are, and this may come quickly. So, be very, very, back to the word intentional, be very intentional about who you are and know who you are. And that's the best way you can do it. And thank you for answering my question too.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna let students ask some questions about business in a few minutes. I'm gonna ask some, but I want to talk about mindset, because that is the course. Have you reflected on the skills, the mental and emotional skills that you've developed, that you believe provide you your competitive advantage? What are the things that you think you are particularly well practiced on that make you fight harder, more resilient, whatever it is? What are the characteristics that you think you've practiced and honed from a mental perspective?
Patient, and Tiffany may not think so, but I am patient. I'm just self-aware, and I realize that I'm just I'm not caught up in what the next material is or anything like that. Materials is whatever to me. I care about life. I want to, every day, if you ask me what am I doing, I'm telling you, living my best life. And that's what I want to do. I want to enjoy, I want to see. We in America, there's a very small percentage of people that have passports, and then there's a very small percentage of people that actually use passports. Because going to, going to Mexico is right here, but going overseas and seeing something different is different. And you know, I will tell you all that if you haven't and you rarely explore, go and explore. It will change your life. You'll see so many different things. You see the culture, you look at things in a different aspect, and you'll realize that it's not that bad. Go backpack, man. Go have some fun. Go with your friends and go do things that you even think about. And just when I grew up, there was these things that used to come around and they used to knock your door, like, we want to sell you an encyclopedia. I remember we get these encyclopedias and we had to look on there. We wanted to see what Turks and Caicos looked like or Paris looked like. We were reading the pages. It wasn't the internet to show you what it was. I'm not that old. I'm old enough. That's all we had first. And my first plane ride was the plane ride to fly to LA. I was 10 years old. I never thought about flying a plane. That's why, you know, our first idea of a plane was making paper planes. Hence the reason why we made a clothing line called Paper Planes. Paper planes was just a dream. We used to throw paper planes out of a window or anywhere and be like, wow, you know, we say we're going somewhere and we like we were on a big jet. And that was the vision. That's why we have the plane on the hat, because it's dreams. It's like our dreams that we dream, we actually make a reality if we claim them. And my vision board is right here every day. I don't need to have it on the wall. I don't need to have it on the computer. Every day that I go out, I have a vision. And I lock into that vision and I make it a reality. And the paper planes was our reality. And we put it on clothes because we want people to know. And I don't know if people know the true story, but that's the true story. So, I don't know. I'm still dreaming. So
It's the best advice there is, you know, especially dreams that you become really attached and in love with. You know, you can write things out with words. You can have images, whether they're pictures, vision board, movies, but the feeling is what moves you to actually do something. And when you fall in love with travel, it's my Tom Freston once said this in class here. He said, passport stamps are like tattoos that you'll never regret later in life.
that's true.
And I love that. I may be buried with my passports and all the extra pages I have to have inserted because I've gone through them within 10 years. There's nothing like it.
Nothing like it, but it's really, I just came back from Costa Rica, and it's, you know, it's amazing. Like, and you can go out there, it's not even expensive out there, you know, the electricity to compared to health. But you can go out there and have fun, go out there and enjoy yourself and see certain things, and you know, just pick up and go. You should do that.
As much as you can. I was talking to a student the other day, he's just taking a gap year. I'm like, man, how lucky are you to have a gap year?
I told my son that. I said, not a gap year. I said, you should take a year off. He's like, no, Dad, I'm gonna work. I said, I didn't say you didn't have to work. I said, you should work how you want to work from a distance, do certain things, do odd jobs, do whatever, but it's going to that, because that time of that year when it starts, you're like, damn, Dad, you ain't telling us like this.
Non-stop. Chris, do you have the mic? Chrissy over here has a related question that I really want her to ask.
Thank you guys so much for being here. So in an interview I watched, you mentioned that time is the most precious thing we have. I think you communicate that a lot in your most recent answer. But you mentioned that we should be present and be intentional, so I wonder how this idea of living purposefully has shaped your career path and your journey with Roc Nation.
Well, listen, I always wasn't a great kid. I'm sure my mom was here and saying, well, he was pretty horrible when he was younger. I wasn't perfect, but imperfections are imperfections. I wouldn't, you know, I've been married 24 years and my wife is perfect. Or I was perfect, she wouldn't want me. At one point when she married me, I had a six-pack. You know what I mean? But it disappeared, and then, you know, and I started fighting for it to come back. But, you know, so, you know, there's things you have to work on throughout the process and all that stuff. I think the purpose for me, when I say time, you know, you can have all the money in the world, but you can't buy that back. You can't buy back time. You can't buy back time. You guys ever watch a movie and it's 2 hours long? You're like, damn, I wish I had my 2 hours back. You know, but we continue to watch it because we just want to watch it through because we're programmed like, let's just finish it so we feel like we complete it. That's what our mind says. I'm turning that stuff off. I'm going to do something else. And that's what I'm saying. Like, what are you going to do with it? It's 24 hours in a day. What time do you wake up? What are you doing for yourself? First thing I do when I wake up, I do something for myself. It's the first thing I do. Because the rest of the day, you might be doing stuff for everybody else. You gotta serve yourself first so your mind is right for everybody else. First thing I do is I go and just go work out or I sit in the sun and do a cold plunge or something like that. Like I do something with myself. I gotta feel good so when I get up and I'm gonna do something. I gotta feel energized so I can do all that. I need time. I need time for me. And you have to find it every day, even when you have kids. So I try to wake up before my kids because so when my kids come, if they wake up, it's all stops. So, you know, and it's fine. Then you start living for that, but you also have to live for yourself. And you gotta find your own happiness. So my happiness is, you know, enjoying life and just kind of like living my best way and living my best way. You'll find that out yourself because as you grow more self-aware of what's going on and become more like present with what's happening. It's a weird thing, but it just hits you over time. As you get older, you just like you start realizing when you might, you know, women are way more mature than men, so they'll definitely figure out how sooner than we do.
And that's why the course was created, honestly, because if I had learned these things at 20 instead of 50, I would have a better life. Less fear of failure, fewer insecurities, take more risks, being intentional about your time. I mean, you mentioned a movie, sitting through a two-hour movie. Imagine that's a decade of a job you don't enjoy. I want to talk about regrets in life. Those are the regrets, you know, or a relationship that's not right for you. And so like seeing those things and understanding that time is finite and the way you spend it, you have control over that.
I saw a movie the other day. My son told me it was the best movie I ever had. My oldest son, I was like, I gotta watch this. You would have watched it without me. I would have watched it by myself. And I was like, this movie's horrible. It's like, this is horrible. I'm not gonna say the movie, but it was horrible. And I was like, I was on call. I was like, what made you think this was the best movie? Like, what did you get out of it? But I didn't bother with it because I just wanted to watch it because he told me so we could have a conversation about it. And I was like, I'm not even having a conversation about it because I don't want to waste my time talking about it.
Sometimes, you know, when someone gives you a recommendation that, you know, someone who matters to you, sometimes it's just okay, well, that tells me more about you. And so I at least learned something about you. So you can try and sort of, but justify it.
I tried to justify it. I couldn't.
It was that bad. Annalise Caballero, are you here? Good. I liked your question. We talk a lot about success and failure and how you define it. I think
You could ask me anything. I mean, you guys. I mean, I've been telling you guys what you want to hear, so you can ask what you guys want to ask me. I'm open book.
Okay, I just wanted to thank you for coming and thank you for giving your time to speak with us. But as someone who's so successful and has run so many successful businesses, I just want to know how do you define failure in your life? And then also I had a following question is, if you want to answer, what is something that might have been a failure at the moment, but then looking back that you're grateful that it happened?
I mean, signing artists is like the lottery. You can sign a few of them, and in that process of signing a few of them, you could fail with them too as well. I signed some artists that didn't do nothing. I don't know if it was my fault, or if it was their fault, or if it was timing. I don't know, because I believe in art. I believe if you're an artist, and just because you weren't the popular artist doesn't mean you didn't succeed. But it didn't succeed for us financially, but for a company will look at that as being a failure for a company, but I don't believe it's a failure. I actually look at my failures as my success because I can learn from them. I don't think, I think someone sitting there saying they never failed or oh, it's the worst thing ever. I was like, if it was the worst thing ever, that means you learn how to be better. So I look at that as like me being in school and me trying to go through all the points of where I made those mistakes and trying to step into the next direction of, don't do that with the next person and being more conscious about what I'm doing. But of course, I would have things that people in the industry will perceive as being failures. But here's a great thing: it's like success always has a lot of parents, and failures have no parents. Everyone wants to claim success. Nobody ever wants to claim a failure. But if I call Brianna, I was like, we have this conversation. We go into all the bad stuff first, and then we get into where it's good. Because I don't want to deliver bad news just as fast as I want to deliver good news. Because you need to know it, so you can prepare for it, so you know how you can go ahead and counteract that and all that stuff. And everything's not peachy all the time. Some things you have to deal with real things, and you also have to take responsibility for the things that you did. So I said, I made a mistake. I told you this was going to happen, it didn't happen. I'm sorry. Let's figure out how we fix it. But I'm not even just saying that. When I feel it's the mistakes happen, I'm coming with the solution. So when I know I'm good, my next thing is how do I figure it out and come up with a solution? Because someone is just talking about a bunch of mistakes that they made and have no solution. But still, that's the problem. So I try to be more of the person that has a solution, so we can fix the problem.
And it doesn't sound, so you've heard a lot of people, give advice about failure. And I think at your age, and when I was at this age, it's just such a thing to be feared. And just, you're used to having the highest scores and the highest GPAs. You wouldn't be at USC if you didn't have those things. I wish I failed earlier. I avoided it for a long time, and so it became something that I really wanted to avoid. You can't get to the good stuff. Like the bliss is on the other side of that. And so you hear some of these, going towards the hard things is what you should do. Someone who started a studio, Chris Meledandre from Roc Nation. Why he left Fox as the president of Fox to start Illumination is because it terrified me. I knew I had to do it. But that's pretty damn good advice.
I mean, starting Roc Nation wasn't easy. We were by ourselves. Nobody was interested in coming to us. You think about that now, and you would say, oh yeah, they did, but it wasn't the case. Ace of Spades is a champagne. For all you all know, it's a gold bottle. And that champagne wasn't started just because we said, we're going to start champagne. The champagne was started because we used to drink a champagne called Cristal. And one day, they asked us, our son, what do you think about these guys in hip hop drinking your champagne? And his response led to the fact that I didn't make it for that. What? We're over here culturally uplifting the brand, doing all this stuff. So it's like, okay, we stopped drinking it. And then sometime after that, like a year after that, someone comes and brings some champagne and says, hey, you should try this. And Jay tried it and loved it and fell in love with it. And he goes, wow, I'm gonna invest in this, I'm gonna buy it. That happened, and he helped create the gold bottle, and then we started just supporting it because we believed in it. And then it became what it became, but it became that. There was no investors in that. We had an original partner, and the original partner was bought out at the beginning, and we would do other things. When we went out for investors, nobody was thinking about investing. And that's fine. And maybe we didn't know how to articulate properly how to go after investors. Maybe we didn't speak the proper language during that time to do that. But we couldn't get people to invest in us. And that's why we went back away and we did it ourselves.
Even with that platform, you think about the cultural platform that you have, it's just, but if that shows you anything, it's how hard it is to raise money. If Jay Brown and Jay-Z are having trouble raising money, it's hard to raise money out there.
I don't know if we knocked on the right doors. I don't know if we said the right thing. I just know that people didn't believe they had the right to feel how they wanted to feel. Before we went to LMH, we were doing it ourselves for FQE, and we were going to go out and raise money. It was the same thing. And then we got fortunate enough to meet Alex and Arno and his father, and went back and forth, and we did a deal, and we built MDA together. But so that was, I think that was destined. That was destined to happen. It was supposed to happen that way. But it's not easy because, you know, there's a thing about culture. People say it so loosely, they don't really actually have to understand what it really is and what it represents. And I always tell people, we don't buy culture, we create culture. And that's what we are. There's nothing to buy, it's created. And you have to know that, and it comes from you. And everyone has culture, from what you eat to how your house is and how you go to each other's house and you have a potluck, you say, I'm gonna bring my own food over. That's part of your culture. What you're doing is you're bringing something to life in your generation, you're sharing with your siblings, saying, this is how we grew up, this is what we do. This is what we do on Fridays, this is what we do on Tuesdays. You know, it's important. It's important to share that so you understand it.
And within the company, especially culture. I want to open up to students because we've got, you know, a half hour or so. Do you want to call on people?
Don't do that to me. Wait, between him and him, they both put their hands up first.
Just know that men raise their hands very enthusiastically. Let's make sure
we got to mix it up with some women.
Exactly. They've been dominating this semester. So go ahead.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for stopping by. It's great to have you here. My question is about the Super Bowl halftime show. You know, recently you guys, Roc Nation, partnered with the NFL and really wanted to re-inspire and, you know, open up the halftime show and make it something that it wasn't before. Could you go a little bit deeper into your vision behind that plan and what the motivation was?
I got to drink some water on that one. That was great. I mean, honestly, we had a great experience with them. They've been great. Here's the truth. There was a lot of things going on with the NFL at that time. And you could sit there and you either throw stones being outside the building or you can get into the building and make change. We did the last 5 halftime shows. We've also done other performances with them too as well. First halftime show was Shakira and J-Lo, 2 Hispanics, women that were dominating. The halftime show was amazing. The second one was The Weeknd. Third one was Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, hip hop for the first time. Culturally, it was important. It was so important that people started, you know, you have people that were older like, well, I'm watching this because they were like, it was their era and they're sharing with them and stuff like that. It was important. And then it was Rihanna, and then it was Usher. We're just trying to bring things to people and let people see a difference, you know, and understand what's going on. Going back to the word culturally, that was significant and was important. And also, you know, there's been a lot of things that they've been doing with the Reform Act of you know, getting, you know, putting money to get young people out of jail that shouldn't be in jail. So it's been a lot of, it's been very positive to work with them, you know, do some stuff. Hence the fact it's never been about like how much they're gonna give us or what we're gonna do. It was about what can we do to influence the world and the culture and do for other people. So it's been great, you know, the first time you ever seen it, they had a person of color producing it, the halftime show with other producers. You know, it's been, you know, Emmy nominations for Dre and all them and the Wind and all. It's been really cool. It's been great. Let's flip it to a woman and we'll go back to the guy. I think it would be fair. She's all the way back. Then, what are you?
Hi, thank you so much for being here. My name is Nia Walker. I'm a senior business major, and I'm interested to know a little bit about your investment strategy when it comes to varsity venture partners and all the projects that you've done. Can you tell us about, I'm sure you get a lot of pitches all the time. So what is it about an investor when they're telling you about their story or their vision that really connects with you? Or just even if it's monetarily, like looking at the projected revenue or things like that, what is it that really connects with you?
It's interesting. The first thing that I do, and I try to figure out who this person is that I want to invest in. I want to know who they are, what they're about. I want to know personally about them. And they should want to know personally about me, because if I'm investing in your company, then I'm going to be a partner with you. Maybe a smaller fraction, but I'm in your business, I'm on your cap table. And that means you have to deal with me in some sort of way, and you want to make sure you want to deal with me. So personally, we should get to know each other. We're talking about who we are as people, what we represent, what our ideology is for business and structure, and how we see the world and things like that. And then I like to look at your overall structure of your company and what you're doing. And I've pretty much done some studying on it. I like to hear about it. You like to know where you're at. How do you see it? You know, what's your vision for this? Is it short term? Is it long term? You want to know it as an investor, because if you said, I'm never selling this business, then you probably never really get an investor, because at some point you got to figure out how you can get some money out of it. And then I want to see how I can help you. And then you should ask me the same question when I invest. How can you help me? Why would I take your money? Because there's money out there. If you have a company that's exciting, there's money out there for you. But you want to make sure you're getting money that's going to matter. You know, money that's important to you, money that someone can sit there and they're going to pick up the phone for you. I mean, you're not going to want to take on an investor and, you know, they're not reachable. And it's just a corporate relationship. You want a corporate relationship, you can get that anywhere. So overall, I get excited about new businesses. I get excited about businesses when I can see how I can help them expand. But also too, I mean, it's a glass breaking in case of emergency. I'm always there. I'm never going to go ahead and, you know, force myself into your company. You're always your company. And what I am is honored to go ahead and work with you if you allow me to go ahead and invest in there. And that's how I see a partnership, or I see an investor. Because some, you know, it's also the thing is, like, some people look at you as a partner, some people look at you as an investor. If you're just money, you're just an investor. So you get to a certain point, it's just, you might just need money to go ahead and carry things through you. But you're so far along, you don't need to talk to somebody. Then you get people that you actually say, you know what, let's bring them in, because I think I actually could, we could learn together and do some things together, and we could actually, they could probably actually help expand a little more. But 72% of my investments are women and people of color so far on this fund. My first fund, I did more seed. This fund, I more Series A, Series B, a little bit of growth. I try to make sure that there's some sort of, you know, I want your revenue to be a certain amount before we invest. It's, you know, the fund's too big to do too many seed investments. But I do pay attention to that. You know, if I do see some companies that are seed, I'll point in the right direction for people that do seed, or do those type of deals, and we try to do it along the way. And then, you know, there's some people that are doing seed deals, and I would say you might value yourself just too low. And I would tell you take less money so you can have more equity. It goes against me, but I would say that there are some people. And then certain people, I sit there, you get to a point, I always say, like, I've learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes you take some off. You just do it because the market's in a market where you can do that. And also too, if the market where you can do that, sometimes the market overall will take money. Sometimes the structure of the world is where you can take advantage of having cash and do certain things with it at this time in the market. And so, and it doesn't really hurt you that much sometimes to take a small piece. We've all done it before, and it all has been a benefit of us. You know, where I had a friend of mine who took some cash on the table and bought something, and it wound up being 4 times the value in, you know, 5 years because he bought it at that time. So it just depends. So I'm gonna, what's your name? Jay? Shane?
So, thank you very much for speaking, first of all. It's great. Learned so much. You brought up your internal vision board, manifesting your dreams. How do you magnetize opportunities to you in a more powerful way? What have you learned to bring more opportunities for your business, for your growth personally towards you? And if you have any advice for like young entrepreneurs, people in our age, how can we use the power of our mind to bring more opportunities towards us? Is it just hard work? Are there other things we bring into this?
No, I mean, I think it's an overall adjustment. And the adjustment starts with everything that surrounds you. You ever been around someone negative and just ruined your day? It's things like that you just can't have around you because it actually won't inspire you. I like people to inspire me. I like to be inspired. I want to inspire people. But if everyone's negative around you, you can't inspire yourself. First thing is that if you told someone you want to do something and you said, no, I'm going to go to the room and they just laughed at you, you gotta stop hanging around with them. Because they don't have the same vision as you. That's how you get your mind into the right place. You gotta figure out, you gotta put yourself around people that are gonna inspire you and and are gonna go ahead and you're gonna cheer them on, they're gonna cheer you on, and you're gonna believe in them. And that's hard to do. But if you sit around a bunch of people that just sit there and tell you every time you can't do something, man, it's over. Because then you start believing it. And that's how you set your mind right. And then you don't necessarily need everyone to say that, but I'm just saying that you have negative stuff around you, and you have to get rid of the negativity to go ahead and make sure you stay positive. And that's how I'll tell you what it worked. I know somebody was right here. Was you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's the mic? The mic, please.
He got a loud voice. He said, yeah, I saw her around here.
Hi Jay, thank you for speaking to us. I'm a music business major here, and there's a lot of us here, and we're super psyched that you're here to talk about Roc Nation and the music company you built. I'm really interested in how you expanded from a boutique management company to a full-service music company. Was there a stage in that expansion, moving into publishing, recording, distribution? Which stage gave you the most trouble, and how did you overcome that?
Say it to me one more time, the last part.
Okay, I was wondering which stage of your expansion gave you the most trouble.
Okay. Every stage. Every stage. You're not prepared for it. It's a weird thing to say, but you're not prepared for growth. You want it, but what comes with it, you don't know. It's like a mystery. It's like going around the door or going through the door. You go through each door each time. You have no idea what it is. And that's what makes it exciting, because it's keep making these steps, you're making these footprints, and I don't know. I mean, you try to say you're prepared for everything, but I think that not being prepared is what actually gives you a chance to learn. Like, or go back to the fact that you had a perfect world, everything's going to happen, it's going to be perfect for you. That's not interesting. I'll be bored. I wouldn't do this no more. So, I mean, I think every time that I keep moving forward, and there's something new that comes your way, whether it's a roadblock, or whether it's a U-turn, or whether it's going down the wrong way, and I keep staying down that path, and I just chisel away at that wall. It's like the Romans, the road is still here to this day. I keep chiseling away and just keep going through until I get to that wall, and then keep laying my little stones down. So I don't know. I'm doing a deal right now. I don't know what's in store for me after I get this deal done. I'm excited about it. We'll see what happens.
Thank you.
I know that you asked me first.
I appreciate you being here with us today, so thank you. Can you tell us about a time in your life when you were at a crossroads and what came with that?
Let me see. I'd probably say my first crossroad was I was 28, was gonna have my son. And I was like, I was in the business. I was a senior vice president of A&R. And I had no idea what I was doing. Because there's no rule book on being a father. I got lucky. I got a stepfather when I was 10. He's amazing. My mom was still in the with him. It's unbelievable. But I knew I didn't want to be my father. So, and I was like, I need to make sure that I'm going to be the perfect father. I was treating him like gloves. He'd fall. I was there to catch him. I was doing everything. I didn't know what to do. And then I was sitting there also trying to work. And then at the same time, I had to fly out all the time. And then, you know, and leave my son. And I didn't know, I contemplated, my contemplation was like, should I not do this anymore? Either I want to make sure I'm being home for my son. And I almost gave up not doing it because I thought that was the case. And then somebody told me, he said, the kids have to see you work. They have to see you leave. They have to see you come back. They have to know that you're going to be there. And they also, no kid is going to want you not to do what you don't want to do or what you love. But I felt like I was making a choice between what I loved and I knew I loved him more. So I was willing to make that choice to not do that. That was my biggest crossroad.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing that. You keep picking them.
Well,
Mix it up.
I don't know, this is a lot. This is
I'm gonna hustle.
I mean, I'll answer them all, I don't care.
You've been good all semester, I know you.
Thanks again for coming to speak with us today. Throughout our discussion today and also throughout your whole career, it's become very evident that you put a strong priority on investing in women and women of color, like you said, and using your platform in that way. So I was just curious, like, what kind of personal mindset do you put yourself in? What kind of personal responsibility do you feel to uplift people whose identities may extend past your own?
Whose identities, what, I'm sorry?
Uplifting people's identities who maybe extend past your own. So maybe even people whose experiences you can't sympathize with or directly relate to, but still feeling that responsibility to uplift them through the music industry.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, if you look at all the categories of music, you know, it's so uniquely different, and you have investments in each one. And I remember Roc Nation, one of the first artists that I signed, I signed a publishing this artist. Her name is, she's a rock artist, her name is Dorothy. And I made all types of music. But I aspire to uplift people and do stuff. And I think we had Dorothy around the same time as J. Cole at that time. And all those things, it was so uniquely different, but yet it was the same because music's the only thing, it's one of the things in sports that bring people together no matter who you are, no matter what it is. When you hear it, you're dancing, this person's dancing. It's just a feeling. You may not even understand the language of it. When you hear it, it's something that moves you in your soul, that brings you all together. And it doesn't have to be something that you actually grew up on. It can be something that you knew. Overall, actually, everybody grew up on all the music that you hear. We have this thing where we call it, and we change it, we call it genres. And genres is just like segregation. And I don't believe in that. I believe music is music, great music, great music. It's a feeling, it's a vibe. And you know, so when you talk about uplifting people, I think things like that uplift people. And I look at it as a very diverse situation where we bring it all together in one unique pot combo, just, you know, kind of make the best out of it.
Thank you.
Hi, nice to meet you, Flavia. I have two questions. I don't know if
Pick one. You have a lot of people on that.
Okay, sorry, so one question. So as I see you're really calm, you're like really confident, and this is really interesting, like someone to be like this. And my question is, you talked about your past and all the struggles, and you made everything from scratch, and you built everything from scratch. So how did you manage to be like this, even in the hard situations when you were like, maybe I don't know from what I will play something, or yeah, this is my question.
Where are you from?
I'm from Italy and Hungary.
Oh, nice. I've been to both. Where in Italy?
Oh, good. Sorry, Professor. From Milan and from Sicily.
Oh, I was just in Milan.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You like it?
It's unbelievable. They got this restaurant called San Bros.
Yeah, the food.
It's
Sorry.
unbelievable. And I answer your question. one simple answer for you. I'm not scared to fail. If you're scared to fail, then, you know, I mean, you can't even appreciate success. So I'm not really worried about it. Like, I mean, if I failed, I failed. Well, I guess what someone believes they failed then. So I think that if you go down the road that everything has to be success, or you're scared of failure, then I don't even know how you can even succeed. I don't know, I mean, the calmness on it is like, I think, she's not calm, but I'm calm. Tiffany's in my office, she's my sister, my first line of defense. So, you know, she might be a little more crazy than me. But no, I've always been cool. Things are not that serious. You know what? I have all these titles, right, for all these businesses and stuff like that. This is a very interesting thing, these titles that were created. And she didn't carry cards for me. I never carried cards. I didn't know, you know, girls never met me. And, but those titles only mean something when I'm in my office. When I walk outside that office and I get on that street, there's no title. There's no nothing. It's just, you know, all that stuff is made up for that. And that's cool. For those people who work with you, work for your peers and things like that. You go on that street, you walk on that street, you drive, you shake around. You're yourself. So I don't get caught up in none of that stuff. So I guess maybe that's the reason why I'm so calm. I'm just like, I'm cool. So I'm gonna move out and just drive and go and do whatever I'm gonna do, or walk, and all that other stuff is kind of just, doesn't really, you know, make a difference. You get caught up in that, you become that. You gotta figure out who you are. I'm just gonna let this guy right here, because otherwise he's been, you don't even like, you guys can, you seem like.
No, but the rest of the class wants to hear him.
Good choice. So my question was kind of what she asked in a way, because I was wondering how you were so calm and grounded, and how you, like, you don't let success get you too high, you don't let failure get you too low, and I was wondering like, where that comes from. You kind of just answered it for us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just have some fun, man. I can tell you guys, and, you know, just make some mistakes. You're gonna do them, and don't feel bad about them, because, you know, you just gotta figure out how you get through them. You can't solve problems if you never had a problem.
Makes it up.
Hi, Mr. Brown. Thank you. Oh, I thought I was muted, sorry. My question is, you said earlier that you always follow your instinct, and I was wondering if there was ever a situation where you followed your instinct and it wasn't the outcome that you thought it was, and how it impacted, if so, how it impacted your relationship with yourself.
Many times. I followed my instincts, I was wrong. I was like, hiring people, stuff like that, and I just, you know, thought it was different. Or invested in businesses. You know, you'll have a fund, and let's say your fund is $100 million in YouTube. You have 20 core investments in that fund, maybe 15. A third of them are going to fall on this bottom tier, which hopefully you can resuscitate them and they become something. The other third in the middle tier, which you're watching, you're trying to help them do something. The other third, you're like, wow, these things are going. And you don't even have to worry about them if you're there. So yeah, I invested in a lot of things. There's no way that you can invest and have fun and hopefully say you're investing in 20 things and they're all going to be optimal level. They're going to be this way. It just doesn't happen. And it's just, you know, I followed my gut and my instincts and I was wrong. I'm still going to make you money. I'm only going to make you money with these third here, possibly these third. But I'm going to make you money, but unfortunately this third right here may not make it. But I believe that they would. So you just never know.
Jay, I want to thank you for coming out, man. Amazing interview. And I wanted to ask you how you were explaining with the intern thing. Sometimes you see something for someone before they see it themselves. Would you compare that to an artist in your industry? Like, you ever had an artist you're like, I know she could be the next Rihanna, or I know he could be the next Jay, or however you see it. And what are the next steps? Like, I could see a clothing brand for you. I can see a makeup line. How do you think about it?
it's interesting for each artist, it's different. Actually, there's an artist right now that I see that could be really massive. I think she's going to be huge because I think she's very focused and she's true to who she is, and she's not going to do nothing that takes away from what she wants. And it could be beauty. And I asked her, and she says, "I'm not into the beauty part of it. That's not where I want to go." She goes, "I don't know what it is yet. When I find out, I'm going to let you know." And that told me right there. I said, when she knows, she's going to come and she's going to say, "This is it." And that's what it is. Like, if I saw an artist all the time and you saw this artist, and every time you saw him, you were like, "Man, that's so-and-so." He always had a lollipop in his mouth. And then at the same point, and it's a silly way to say it, but I'm just giving you a simple way to say it. You go to that person like, "Man, this guy loves lollipops. What we should do is design lollipops for this guy. He should have a lollipop business." I mean, it's just like as simple as that, because that's what they're known for doing, and that's who they are. And you find out what it is. But if they don't want to do it, you don't do it. Don't force someone to do a business they don't want to believe in or they don't want to do, because then you just have what you call a famous face on business that's not that doesn't really mean anything.
May I ask who that artist is?
Pardon me?
May I ask who that artist is?
I'll surprise you with hopefully soon.
We got time for one or two more perspectives.
Man, this is hard. Okay, pick a number between 1 and 10. Go. Hurry.
3, 7.
Just 2. My turn now.
Hi. So, from what you've shared with us tonight, I think it obviously seemed really big and good on trusting your vision and your intuition and being true to who you are. And sometimes I find when making decisions, whether big or small, that can take a lot of courage. So I'm wondering, like, what helps you to stay true to your path when that might not look like what other people are doing or in the face of distractions?
I never really cared about what anyone else is doing. You know, being a business owner, entrepreneur, you're the last one to get paid and the first one to get blamed. If I started following or thinking about and caring about what someone's going to say or whatever, I wouldn't do what I'm doing. Everyone has something to say. Everyone has an opinion. You got to turn that off, and you got to do what you have to do. Because if you listen to that, you're never going to find the goals or what you're going to do. Only the support is a different thing. And it's opinions are something totally different. Remember, it's an opinion. And if you look that up, what that really means is what somebody actually believes or someone's really saying as an idea of what they think. But people are investing in you for what you think. So I'm kind of like, let's go for it now.
Remember the good advice in your 20s, you care about what people think about you. In your 40s, you don't care so much. In your 60s, you found out they never thought of you in the first place. It's really something that you got. I mean, we had a whole talk on FOCO, fear of
He's not even in his 60s yet, by the way.
Yeah, I hit it on Saturday.
I see that. It's happy birthday, man.
Go ahead.
He's still in his 60s. He's 60.
So I was wondering if you could give some advice on being a woman and a woman of color and also international. I found myself that sometimes I'm just happy to be here, I'm happy to face the table, and that I haven't been maybe advocating for myself or trying to get opportunities because I'm just happy that you're allowing me to be here almost. And I really want to break away from that mindset of trying to get up.
I got that, by the way. Where are you from?
Middle East, Saudi Arabia.
Oh, okay. I was there maybe like 3 years ago. See, that guy was everywhere. Where at? Riyadh and Jeddah?
Neither. Shouldn't be.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I haven't been there.
Yeah, I'm from a real small town.
I haven't heard that time, but I did. Well, thank you for sharing it. So, and are you living here now, or you go back and forth?
Yeah, I've been in the States for 10 years now. I'm a grad student here at USC.
Oh, that's cool. Well, it's a mindset. So it's kind of like an exercise, like when you go to the gym. You have to exercise your mind. You know that you deserve greater things, and that you have your greater power is within you and yourself, and that you can do anything you want to do. But that's not going to happen overnight. You got to exercise your mind and know that. You have to say that to yourself. When I was saying earlier, I said you have to claim it. Every morning, every time you get up in the morning, you have to claim it. You have to know what you're going to do, and you have to know that you can do it. And sooner than later, you're going to start really believing it, because you're going to really actually know you can do it. And I believe actually you can do it yourself. Just the fact that you were strong enough to sit there and tell me that what you just said is powerful, because it actually shows a weakest point of what you feel you are at this moment. That's a powerful thing to say. It says how much power you have within yourself. So I don't even believe that you can't do anything. I didn't know why you probably even used the word can't. I think you can. So I would love to see what you are going to do.
That means a lot.
That was a great question to end on and an answer. Thank you for sharing that. That was a great question. Man, I've admired your work from afar for a while. You back here. Sorry about that. I got 3 months. Does that work now, Jared? I've admired your work from afar, and I'm just so grateful to you and to Amy for bringing you here. The advice that you've left them will change their lives. There's no doubt. It may not tomorrow, but in a few years. So I'm going to ask you, in 5 years from now, what's a piece of advice or wisdom or a quote from Jay that you're going to remember? Anybody have any hands they want to share? I'm going to record this because I think it's going to be good. You got to speak up loudly. You ready?
I'm starting to lose my memory.
Ready?
Sometimes you gotta take a step back to make a leap forward.
Success has a lot of parents. No one wants to claim failure, so invest in yourself.
If you're scared to fail, you can't appreciate success.
Make the first thing you do in the morning be for you.
You can't solve a problem if you've never had one.
Surround yourself with people who believe in you. You got the most money in the world, but you can't buy back time.
Plan your dreams in order to make them a reality.
When they say don't say no bad.
Happy life is a long life, and a happy life is around.
Go explore.
You can't solve a problem if you never had one.
Failure teaches you things. Just do what makes you happy. Accept yourself every day and
Once you find it, you will know.
We don't buy culture, we build it. Never be afraid to fail.
wake up and serve yourself first. Go explore and have fun. That's the thing that matters.
That's a record.
I think some of your parents might be upset with me because I said go explore and go have some fun. You guys are making a shot tomorrow.
That is a great way to end the semester. I can't be more grateful to you. Let's thank Jay Brown. Did you hear that? Next year we'll set up the internship, and seriously, we have the sports class with Willow that we're launching. We'd love to, to get you guys and get the company involved in teaching. But come up, say hi to Jay. Have a great week. Good luck in finals. Hold on. Free products from Amy Lou in Tower 28. This is the best class ever. It's great.
Oh my god, that's crazy. Mascara.
Let's go. We're getting on the podcast. Watch this. I might get something from Tower 28.
Free Tower 28.
She got distracted. Can we like I promised I'd get him out of here. Give it to Lily.
They have that?
Isn't that bad?
No. Are you trying to tell me that? No way. Congratulations on being a woman.
I do it well. What?
Being a woman? Yeah. You do it well.
It's all about networking. Using it to your benefit. No, there's also guys on this.
Huh?
There's also guys on this.
I feel like if I shave your head, your network goes down by half. Just saying. Call it a network if you want. Excuse me.
What are you saying? Getting mascara here for free?
Oh, listen to this guy. He's a legend. He's really the most important person in this industry.
Yo, come on, question.
Game recognizes game.
Real. Man, I mean, why? I blame this on you and you for not telling me about this stuff, and you for not telling me about this stuff.
I'm surprised. I've been asking you want some answers.
Yeah. I just found out about it today. Luckily, I found out about it like perfectly. Because like, damn, I would have hated to have found out about this like after. Yeah. But like, what the freak?
Ain't you been here longer than me?
But I mean, I can't be moving myself.
You're like right. See, I'm just looking out for you. Like, I'm not trying to put you under too much stress in that thing.
I'm just waiting. No,
I'm actually like on the camera.
You got a question for me?
I'm going to get some free products, personally. I don't really know what to ask.
Yeah, I think those are the products right there.
Are they?
I think so.
Oh.
So yeah, are those the products?
Oh, there's the little. Is that a setting?
Let me know if you go to the thing.
Is that a setting?
Oh, he's hydrolonic acid thing. It's like that. It's something that's been going viral on TikTok.
Tatum,
Like,
can you give me
It's fire, honestly.
yes, it is. You use it? Me too.
You do too?
Yeah. Yeah, like how does it like affect your face and like
Relaxes.
I
go to bed.
Wow, so that's what you use it before you go to bed. That's your next Yeah. You should start using it. Well, honestly, you should tell them about it. Tell them about it.
Put this on. How you get the glow? All of it.
Get the glow.
See, she's got the
How's that sound? What?
I put one entire bottle on space.
On your face, that's sample all at once.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Thank you. Yeah? Oh my gosh. What's your name? Hi, Dan. I'm Jake. So nice to meet you. You asked a great question. You were talking, I was like, nice to meet you. Hi, pleasure. It's a company called Nerd Space. It's really good dinner series for business and arts and just kind of trying to create meaningful experiences.
You know, Miles Collins? Yeah, he's great.
I probably didn't.
Actually, you know what? Take the plate out of Peter. It's all good, I know? Yeah, barely. I don't know, bro. Huh? What'd you say? Like,
What? Oh, with the thing?
Oh, great.
So you can't even make jokes about
Play a sport, utilizing your height. Oh, awesome. Well, sometimes I ask, I got
that means get the fuck out.
That guy up there.
Yeah, what's going on? I'll put this out.
No worries. And now I serve. I serve all my life. What else do I do?
Yeah. Why are you looking crazy?
She has a university morning.
No, but only
I have not. I haven't taken my picture.
What about the other Mexican boys?
Exactly. I don't want to no, she's not girl.
Yeah, big tall body. You men, you get a nice big long club. I bought comps and they put plugs on the end so they make it longer. So you're not. I do this a lot. Even when they were helping put it up, help the old guys. You should ask them what do you think they do. As soon as you give them the money, you just be try it like this. Figure out what
But thanks for catering for. We're here to help.
I will. I this type of energy that and so when I'm thinking of podcasts, there's a very challenging opportunity in business and so how did you connect people as well as well? I'm saying and I'm going to try to get people like you on my podcast. They're going to need how is it fun? There will be times where I'll get lucky and authentic conversations, but I don't know how to find that balance.
They used to say, man, Jay, you're a listener. And then one day someone told me that's not right. You got someone that day actually. Research. So you got to figure out when you recognize. Figure out when Oh no, that's easy for me. I would do it, but I appreciate it.
All right, everyone. We promise you've been so generous. How about? I just want to say thank you.
Oh, anytime.
Quick group picture up front, and then we're gonna get shot. Stand here, so we'll take care of 20 people instead of one at a time. All right, everyone, get around. Jay, if you want to be in the picture. Get around.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for waiting and answering all our questions.
All right, jump up there up front.
I will.
Okay, hold on.
All right. You want to get
I'm not that
you want to
young.
get the front row?
Thank you. Keep it good.
Tiffany, can you get it from there? That's a lot of people.
Tiffany, you're steering his way, Tiffany.
I've already learned that front row is tough to get everybody. Molly, you're in the shot. Slide in. Slide in. If you want to get on a knee, do a sports picture. You can do whatever you want. This is so good. All right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. All USC, everybody, 2 fingers and a fight on 3. 1, 2, 3. That was so late.
Roc Nation on 3.
Congratulations, guys.
Poker face.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Good job, man. This is great.
Thank you.
Yeah, think of where your park is. We need to go back to your
I have no idea where I'm parked.
Tiffany, you good? No questions? That's okay.
But I didn't watch it like staring. Yeah. Like, hey.
Yeah. I'm not even next. Crazy. Yes. Yeah, I'd have to talk to them. Are you going out? Yeah, if you want to sit more into like stuff, it's fine. Okay. I think there would be like a consumer I know, it's crazy. I'll text you.
when I checked, it was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, come to that. Okay. Okay, perfect. I can't wait. See you.
I'll probably be from high school.
There was a program called the World Bachelor Series.
Yeah,
I think you get to go to that program. Yeah, I was really interested in that. It's like, this is better, so. My brother's been there. He's like,
Hey, Jack. All right, good rally.
Yeah, I think my brother's from the wall. Oh my God. That place is
I think I, recommend
that's about as far as yeah. I mean, like, stop at Ocean, so I'll go to
I came here to meet LeBron James.
Oh my God.
I was thinking today, so Reggie Bush and Liner just to found the Georgia. Thanks. Thank you. All right. Stay in touch.
If I get a job now next semester, then I'll hopefully come back around.
You'll get a job in here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. All right. It's a good rally by you. It's a good rally by you. All right. I'm gonna pack it up. Tell your dad I said hey.
I think in my I did as soon as I have my phone, right? Oh, yeah.
So, you know, you gave 2 hours.
I'm just like,
Everybody wants another time. Yeah, so thank you. All right, yeah. Thank you for just one.
Yeah.
That happened like utilizing that way, because that probably should have.
I'll be in Barcelona in June, and I'll be at the Olympics to watch former students compete in Paris. So I'm trying to go everywhere. So maybe I'll go see them. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Have a good. Hi. Sorry, last class.
No, do it. Absolutely.
Hi.
Father.
First, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Late birthday. My other question is, so next semester, even if I finish, if I'm a senior, I can still come to visit classes, right?
So less than we'll see, but it's good.
Okay. Okay, and this is the last time when I ask you this. I won't. I won't bother you with this. Last time you mentioned someone who had you had lunch with in the
CBRE.
CBRE, yeah.
Send me an email that just says Lori Bowers. Lori Bowers, her daughter's in the class.
Okay. Okay. I will.
Just say or CBRE. Just say CBRE contacts.
Okay.
And then I'll introduce you.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah.
Father, come on. I just talked to my friend from Florida.
And what did she say?
It was for my birthday. Someone sent me a picture of.
But that's amazing that you're still in so good contact.
No, it was just like someone sent me a picture of me at 28.
Do you have that picture?
Yes.
Can we see that?
Me at 28 at a beach in Australia on a barrier reef.
With Flavia?
I'm looking at this woman who is. Her name's Flavia.
Can we see?
It's a legit picture. So someone gave me a digital frame loaded with hundreds of pictures from my life, which I hadn't even seen. This is me looking at her, trying to summon the guts to ask her out.
So cool.
Oh, and
That's me. That's her walking on the beach, and we were on.
She's beautiful, by the way.
She gets Flavia. That's Flavia from Milan.
Yeah, from Italy.
And so, like, to see that moment captured, it was truly like working up the courage.
That's so funny.
Whoa. So that's my Flavia.
Oh my God.
Now you I will always remember your name. That's
yeah.
Fine. We overshare here, but never cross lines. But yes, CBR, great semester.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you for your time, and every time I leave this class, I feel a little inspired, you know. So I wanted to thank you for. I could tell you put in effort to try to motivate and help everyone. So I just wanted to thank you for that.
Thank you. It's all about the students give the energy, man. I love the class. I put everything I have into this. When it's over, I'm like, I'll miss it, but the time it takes to do this class is so intense, you know. Especially then, like, I don't want to let him down, like his last class. Yeah, but Jay Brown, I don't want to mail it in, right? He was awesome.
Right.
So, you got a lot of great people for you. Any favorites? So he produces documentary series. Religion of Sports was doing something on entrepreneurs. Was there an entrepreneur or two that like really stuck with you this year? In terms of impact.
I think it was Harry, or I don't remember his name exactly, but he had the house presentation.
The what? Oh yeah, Jonathan Hirschberg.
Yeah, it's Hirschberg. Sorry. So that was one of my favorites.
He's the largest Nike licensee in the world. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone for you?
I actually spoke to John like 2 days ago. We were doing a project for an English class, and I think his daughter is a roommate with one of my classmates, and we got connected from there too. And so I got to speak to him again. But I think Michael, the
Gervais.
psychologist.
You know Mike Gervais? High stakes sports psychologist.
I think some of the things he said kind of stuck with me. Kind of applying the stuff he taught. And I think just keeping in mind and not try to overthink, not try to like worry too much. I think that's been helping me just to be more calm, you know, and be more present.
You're not alone, man. Most people in class are thinking the same thing. They're anxious and thinking about what's next. That's helpful. What about you, Shahat?
No, I was gonna add to it that he really like pulled the right strings when he was talking about like that task that he gave us everybody, that like we got a task and who's gonna come up and speak, and like nobody raised their hands.
Yeah.
And that was actually the test, that you're not like confident because you have.
You're not
like,
ready to compete.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not ready to sort of put yourself out there.
What did he say? FOMO, fear of people's
Fear of other
opinions?
people's
So
opinions.
I think
Yeah.
he did hit the right note.
Do you remember? Were you here for Tala? For did you like that one?
I don't exactly remember. Like
Tala was